Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pete CD Vinyl World. Today, I wanted to do a response to a vinyl tag that Chris Propfe, Musically Obsessed, created, and it was show your albums with goodies or extras, meaning posters, order forms, any type of item like that. So, yeah, I'm not sure when that sort of trend started. I think way back in the 50s and 60s, obviously soundtracks and opera box sets and all that came with booklets and all that. As far as rock and roll, from what I've seen in collecting over the years, it didn't even come with inner sleeves with the lyrics and stuff until maybe the late 60s, early 70s. I know the Beatles started putting some stuff in their albums. In the White Album, they came with 8 by 10s of all the members. The White Album I have from the 70s actually has a poster, but I don't know if that came with the original pressing. I think Sergeant Pepper has those little pop-up goodies you can pull out of a cardboard sheet. But I don't think it's until the late 70s until you start even getting like cool inner sleeves with pictures and lyrics and all that. Um, but anyway, I'm going to start with a couple CDs because, once in a while you do get something with a CD. Not often because of just the format of it, but here's a couple of mine. This is Ace Frehley 12 Picks. It's a compilation that came out in the late 90s, and it actually came with a guitar pick there. Ace Frehley guitar pick. So that was pretty cool. I often see that a lot with CDs, special edition CDs. A lot of times, a guitar pick is pretty much the only thing they can include. Next one is the CD single of Kiss Psycho Circus, or actually CD/VHS single of Psycho Circus. This came out in '98. The CD actually has a bonus track, In Your Face, that's not on the album, and it also came with these 3D glasses to watch the video because it was in 3D. And the tour had 3D video screens that they would hand out 3D glasses with, and they actually worked pretty well. And the funny thing is, the 3D glasses they gave out on tour were much nicer. They had their faces on them and stuff. And I saw one of the earlier shows on that tour at Madison Square Garden. And as soon as you walked into the arena, they just had like these folding tables full of 3D glasses. So everybody just grabbed a handful. I have like 10 of them. But I did hear later on in the tour, as you walked into the arena, they only handed you one. So I was lucky that I saw them earlier on in the tour where I grabbed a bunch. But yeah, also, funny thing, I see this as enhanced CD, so I guess the video's on the CD. Remember that back in the 90s? That was a big selling point for CDs, was they had these enhanced videos and you'd put them in your Windows 95 computer and they would barely function. I remember a lot of the Iron Maiden releases from the 90s had their videos from that album, each album on the CDs, and you would put them in your computer. You could barely ever get them to run, so that's kind of crazy. So just I'll show Kiss one more time because they're sort of the kings of goodies with albums. They had, starting with Kiss Alive, they always had something in their albums, and they actually had 6 albums in a row with posters. The 4 solo albums, Dynasty and Unmasked, all came with posters. But Chris showed the Paul Stanley solo album. This is the Peter Criss one, and this one has something that the other 4 don't. Besides the order form and the poster, it has this sheet with all the credits on it because they didn't have enough time to print them on the album sleeve because this album was so delayed in production. So his is the only one that has this, sheet with credits and this and that. So if you're looking for an original copy of that, make sure that has that in there. Next one is a band called Shotgun Messiah. Not sure if you ever heard of them. I believe they only had one album. They were sort of, I wouldn't say hair metal, more like sleaze metal. Sort of getting into that no frills metal era of 90 to 92. They were kind of like, still better looking than your girlfriend, but we still play metal. But oddly, this came with like I didn't punch it out, but it came with like a stencil of their name. You know, as if you're gonna like spray paint their name on the back of your amplifier or road case or something. I just thought it was kind of odd that they would do that. So it's not a bad album if you ever see it. I think they only had one album though. But yeah, these are just off the top of my head, the stuff that I remembered had stuff in it. I'm probably sure I had more, but these are particular. I remember having stuff in there. This is Mountain's second album, Nantucket Slayer. Actually, it could be their third because Leslie West's first solo album was called Mountain. That's considered like the first Mountain album, and then, but whatever, who knows? What? But this one came with a bunch of stuff actually. It came with a book about the album, all the credits and lyrics and everything, and also came with some 8x10s, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I think they were on an independent label, which looks like distributed by Columbia, but cool nonetheless. This was, I don't know what year this has got to be 69 or 70, so we're just getting into the era where bands were, I guess, starting to do that a little bit. Next one. This is Toto Turn Back, their third album. And to me, even having the shrink wrap with just a hype sticker is a little bit of a bonus there. But this is kind of perplexing because in this album, they included this poster, which I love Toto. They're one of my favorite bands. Steve Lukather is one of my favorite guitar players, but there's no way in hell I'm hanging up a Toto poster. I don't know who came up with the idea to include a poster of Toto, one of the more like faceless bands ever in rock and roll, but nonetheless, they came with a poster. And you can't talk about goodies without talking about the Who Live at Leeds. You know, this was a cool setup where it was made to be like a press kit, you know, and it has all of these like almost like bills and hotel receipts and little posters, all kinds of cool stuff. This is I believe this is a second printing, and it is complete. It has all the goodies in it. It has like, I think 17 individual pieces of paper in them, or whatever, items. I think the original has red printed here, but I looked it up. I think this is a second printing of it. But this is an essential album no matter what. If you get the CD reissue, they, you know, print all that stuff in the booklet, but it's not the same as having all the little pieces. And you got to get the CD anyway because it's the expanded entire concert. I think they might have put that out on vinyl too, but I'm not sure. But next up, Fragile Yes, and I haven't looked, but I think this came with a book, right? Yes, came with this cool booklet with artwork and pictures. Pretty cool. Besides having a gatefold, so bands were even like, you know, had gatefolds and still had inner sleeves and stuff. What else we got here? This is Angel, White Hot, and you know, this is I think my favorite type of goodie that comes with an older album I find, and that's an order form, which shows you like all the merchandise that was out at the time. You know, you could get, look at this, t-shirts for $4.50, concert book for $3, poster for $2.50. It's pretty funny, you know, if you have these shirts from this era in the 70s from these bands, they're worth hundreds of dollars, but they were so cheaply made that back then you'd probably wash them once and they would, you know, disintegrate. And back then, like a guy's large, see how everything's skin tight back, everybody wears a guy's large back then is probably like an adult large now, you know. So, but I do love when albums come with order forms, because you can see all the merchandise that was out at the time. Because let's face it, most hard rock and metal fans are you know, collectors of some sort. That just goes along with it. We're all nerds that way, I guess. I mean, really, was anybody in the 70s waiting for like a James Taylor or Jackson Browne album to come with a poster? You know, probably not. But everybody wanted a Kiss poster and Alice Cooper or whatever. Cheap Trick at Budokan, another awesome set. It's got all these pictures in the gatefold, but it also came with this book. If I could find it.
It's in there.
Yeah, it's in there. And it's kind of like their Japanese tour book. Everything's written in Japanese to make you, if this wasn't an import copy, they were doing import copies at the time, but it made you think when you bought this that you had an import copy. Which is another curious thing about this album too, is that it's not a double album, but they had the sleeve like a double album, whereas the album was in one sleeve and the book was in another. So that was kind of cool.
You're almost done.
No. A couple more minutes. Get lost.
Hey!
So this is Alice Cooper Killer. So this one's kind of unique too because it was made with a calendar of
Your
19...
fans don't like you. It's true.
So this is Alice Cooper Killer. And it came with a poster or a calendar of 1972. And you could detach it from the album here, and you'd still have the same back cover as this. Now, the odd thing about this was that, as you can see, this is a mid to late 70s Warner Brothers label. The original was released on that green Warner Brothers label. I believe they printed this album with the calendar for multiple years, and it was still 1972. So either they had leftover sleeves that they never used, or I don't know what. But I always thought that was odd. Later on, I guess in the later 70s, 80s, it just had the regular sleeve, didn't have the calendar button. And final one is another one, I think is 69, late 60s. Yeah. Cream Goodbye. Came with a pretty big poster here. That's pretty cool. Anyway, just wanted to respond to Chris's video, and if you like my videos, please subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks.